Hi, Assalamualaikum. I'm Muhammad Amir Rashid, and for this video, we will present about Islamic home financing. First of all, let me introduce our group members. I'm Muhammad Amir Rashid, next Muhammad Aslan Maskadov, next Said Muhammad Hafizuddin, and the last one is Muhammad Amir Fidaus. So next, we go to the introduction. In Malaysia, there are a few different ways in which a Islamic home financing contract can be executed, but the focus will be on Musyarakah Mutanakisah and Ijarah. Musyarakah Mutanakisah implement the relationship of partnership in the elements of sharing and ownership. Ijarah provide financing to the customer to lease any required asset. We go to the pillars of contract. Musyarakah Mutanakisah is an Islamic home financing concept that is commonly offered by Bank Islam and other Islamic financial institutions. It is a form of partnership or co-ownership where the bank and the customer enter into a joint venture to acquire a property. This concept adheres to the principle of Islamic finance, which prohibits the charging or paying interest, which is riba. Under Musyarakah Mutanakisah, the bank and the customer contribute capital to purchase the property jointly. The customer make a down payment and the bank provide the remaining fund to acquire the property. The ownership is shared between the bank and to the customer based on their respective capital contribution. Okay, next we go to third-party Musyarakah Mutanakisah. First, customer and bank agrees on Musyarakah ventures term and create Musyarakah investment fund as a partners. The venture firstly purchase a property, then lease out Ijarah agreement to the third party and distribute the rental according to the agreed profit sharing ratio. For example, based on capital contribution. If the customer is also the lease, the customer will pay the rental for the property, which become the income for the venture. The customer's portion of profit from the venture is not distributed to the customer as share of customer's profit, but used to redeem the bank share of the equity over the period of time. Once the equity is 100%, the customer will own the property. Next pillar of contract Ijarah. Ijarah is another Islamic home financing concept offered by Bank Islam and other Islamic financial institutions. It is a lease-based arrangement that allows individual to acquire a property without involving interest-based transaction. In an Ijarah contract, the bank purchase the property and lease it to the customer for a specific period. Ijarah is an financing tool to allow customer to procure their asset through the lease instead of buying the asset. So that's all from me.
Assalamualaikum and very good day. My name is Muhammad Aslan Maskadov bin Abdul Latif. I will be presenting the evidence and modus operandi. First, Islamic home financing in Islamic banking focus on two types of contract, which is the first one is Musyarakah Mutanakisah and the second one is Ijarah. So we will be focusing on the evidence and modus operandi of these two contracts. The evidence of Musyarakah is by the Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu. The Prophet said, Allah the Most High said, I am the third partner of two partners as long as one of them does not cheat to his companion. Then, if he cheat his partner, I depart from them. The second evidence is by As-Sayyid al-Makhzumi radhiyallahu anhu said that he used to be a partner of the Prophet in a business. During the opening of Mecca, he said to the Prophet, welcome my brother and partner. These two evidence explain the partnership in the Musyarakah contract and also encourage the partnership. Next, we have the evidence of Ijarah. This is reported by Ibn Abbas that the Prophet had himself cupped and gave the person who cupped him his remuneration. If it is prohibited, he will not have paid him in the first place. The next evidence is by ijma. The Ummah have come to the consensus during the time of companion on permissibility of ijarah, since the need of the people is similar to their need of physical goods. So this is two of the evidence of ijarah. The first one is the hadith and the next is the ijma. Let's move on to the modus operandi of musyarakah mutanakisah. First, we can see that the partners or customer will provide the capital to the musyarakah mutanakisah financing agreement, and then the Islamic bank institution will lease back the asset, and the partner will pay the rental lease before the bank transfer the ownership of the asset. And of course, the musyarakah mutanakisah financing agreement will find the house and property suitable for the contract. And the last one, we have the modus operandi of ijarah. First, the customer or lessee will identify the asset and equipment to be leased to the vendor, and then the vendor will tell the bank to purchase the asset or equipment at, for example, Rn 7,000. And then the bank will lease the asset and equipment to the lessee with monthly rental of, for example, Rn 235 for 36 months. And the lessee or customer will pay the monthly rental to the lessor, which is in this example is bank. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we go to the condition for ijarah in this topic. First, we go to the both parties, which is a lessor and lessee. Lessor and lessee must meet the contracting party condition. The condition among others are be sound of mind and attain the age of maturity. The existence of the object of the contract, which can either be asset or equipment or benefit or usage. The third one is the lessor and lessee must agree and determine by the rent at the contract inception. And the fourth point is there must be a term or period of the ijarah arrangement agreed by both parties at the inception of the contract. So the last point is offer and the acceptance of ijarah arrangement between the parties. So the application of ijarah that apply in the Bank Islam is ijarah contract is common in higher purchase financing. In this regard, customers seek financing from the financial institution to finance their purchase of assets. The financial institution do not have an intention to own the asset and just a mere financing provider in the arrangement. Customers, on the other hand, have the intention to own the asset at the end of the financing period. Because of this, ijarah contract often comes with a transfer of ownership to the customers at the end of the financing or leasing tenure. The transfer of the ownership of the asset at the end of ijarah period can either be through sale or gift contract. Two common Islamic ijarah product are ijarah Thumma al-Bait, which is called AITAB, and ijarah Muntahiyah bil Tamlik, we call it IMB. ITAB is a leader arrangement that ends with a sale at the end of the lease term. As such, AITAB consists of two contracts, which is contract of leasing, ijarah, and the second one is sale contract, which is called it bait. IMB, on the other hand, comes with an option for the lessee to own the asset at the end of the lease period. The option to own the asset can be done via transfer or ownership through a gift to a sale for nominal amount or amount agreed by both parties. Okay, we go to the condition of musyarakah in application of Bank Islam. So we know, as we study in this topic, which is musyarakah, a partnership contract among two or more parties and they established by mutual consent Therefore, it's necessary that all the basic conditions of valid contract must be fulfilled here. For example, the contracting parties must be same and mature. The contract must be done with mutual consent of the parties, and there will be no fraud, cheating, or misrepresentations. However, there are some specific conditions for the validity of masyarakat contract. So, I give the important condition for this topic. First one is the ratio of the profit. Sharing between the partners must be determined at the conclusion of the contract. The profit of each partner should be in the percentage of actual profit. It is not permissible to determine a profit in lump sum amount of money or in the form of a percentage of the capital. For example, if they agree that A will get 5% of this capital, then the contract must be valid. So the second one is it allow for working partner to set his profit more than his share of capital with mutual consent of the parties. However, if a partner explicitly mentioned in musyarakah contract that he will take part in management of the business and will remain as sleeping partner, then his ratio of profit must be more than his share of capital. For example, if he invested 50% of capital in musyarakah venture, then he is entitled to stipulate his profit share within 50%, not more than that. So the last point for this is if loss occurs in musyarakah venture, every partner will suffer the loss according to his ratio of investment. This principle is agreed by all jurists and scholars across the different scholar of Islamic law. For example, if a partner has invested 30% of the capital, he shall suffer exactly 30% of loss. Therefore, it is not allowed to put any condition contrary to this principle. Otherwise, the contract become invalid. So in general, every partner shall have a right to participate in the management of musyarakah and work for it. However, it's impossible that the partners may agree that only one of them work for the musyarakah and other remain as sleeping partners. If all our partners agree to work for musyarakah venture, each one of them should be treated as the agent of the other in all the business matters of the business. Okay, thank you for me.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Amir Firdaus, and the next I want to explain about the implementation of home financing in Bank Islam. Baiti Home Financing is a well-known Islamic housing bank financing product. Baiti Home Financing is also subject to credit review and approval. Islamic bank will be able to finance up to 90% of the value of a new home, whether complete or under construction. There are a number of the others benefits from Bank Islam financing. For example, we can get better cost with the expansion of processing fees, enjoy no payment during construction for up 2 years for selected residential projects, and better cost savings with the exclusion of a processing fee and 20% discount on stamp duty for perfecting the bank security documentations. Subsequently, the long term for this housing loan is up to 35 years. The loan margin allocates up to 90% of the entire house price. For late payment, the penalty for loan repayment is 1% of the outstanding amount, while the interest rate charged by Islamic banks on their home loan is floating and largely depends on the amount of financing borrower. For loan amount existing RM 100,000, the effective interest rate will be 4.45% per annum. However, the effective interest rate will be determined by the bank at the time of loan approval. Besides, the monthly installment will consist
of the principal amount and profit rate, which is floating. The implication is that the monthly installment amount will vary if the bank's base rate changes. Thankfully, the profit is kept to a limit so that you can hedge any sudden hikes in the IBR that might result in higher repayments. Bank Islam also offer a mixed multi-tier home loan in this financing package. Okay, that's all for me.